We're counting down the top 10 quarterbacks for Dynasty football leagues heading into the 2021 season. Let's start with number 10. Chris, who we got?
We're starting off with your boy, and that's Tua. Obviously, rookie year last year wasn't quite, what we wanted, but he's still 23 years old as we enter the 2021 season. So you're getting a huge age discount there. And we have to give him, a little bit of grace for last year because he was coming off that major injury. Also, the Dolphins, they were kind of cautious with him, not only as far as playing time goes, but in the game plan. I think we're going to see them open things up a little bit more in 2021. So you're getting, at worst, a starting middle-of-the-road quarterback, if not, a top 15, maybe even a top 10 future quarterback. So that alone puts Tua at our number 10 for our Dynasty rankings.
Yeah, look, I could go on and on about Tua. I know it didn't quite happen this year, but there's several reasons why that receiving core was just decimated. There wasn't a lot of options there. 6.2 adjusted yards per attempt. That's not that great, right? That's like Daniel Jones territory. But it's not like Ryan Fitzpatrick blew him out of the water. It was a product of the offense. Fitzpatrick was 17th in adjusted yards per attempt. So this was, basically a year for him to learn and grow. He did go 6-3 as a starter. He is set, he's established, and he still is one of the most promising young quarterbacks in the league. But we got a few guys ahead of him. And I think it goes without saying, Joe Burrow is going to be ahead of him right now, the number 1 pick. Did not disappoint in any way. You know what? Halfway through the season, he was leading the league in yardage and pass attempts. I mean, they were just letting him sling it. So this is a guy that is going to be the face of this franchise and this offense. And got a nice young receiver there in T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, really solid. You figure they're going to add some more weapons around him too now that A.J. Green is gone. Absolutely no concerns here with Burrow. And what was nice to see is that with all those pass attempts, he had the 3rd lowest interception rate in the NFL. Only guys who were lower, Pat Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. That's pretty good company after just half of a rookie season.
Yeah, it almost feels like Burrow is a discount here at 8, especially when we talk about another rookie or 2020 rookie later on in our rankings here. We talked about it in our QB Sleepers video. He had 4 300-yard games and a 400-yard game, and he didn't even play all 16 games, right? And again, like Tua, this is another guy just getting started in his career, so if you have him, he could be your QB1 for many years to come. And then at number 8, we have Russell Wilson, our first veteran of the list. It's crazy to think Russell Wilson's a veteran, but he is. He'll be almost 33 years old at the start of the 2021 season. Now, there's some uncertainty here because he has expressed some displeasure with the Seattle Seahawks and their lack of protection for him and the things that are going on. Now, will it amount to anything? Who knows? I don't see it happening. I think they're going to figure it out. I think Russell Wilson will be a Seahawk next year and beyond, but still, he can't be higher than 8th on this list, again, just because of the age thing. And we know this team, they want to run the ball. They want to make an effort to run the ball. They've talked about it all offseason. We saw it down the stretch last year. Even though Russell Wilson gets it done year after year, he can't be higher than 8th on this list simply because of his age and the fact that he's on an offense that wants to be a run-first offense rather than a pass-first offense.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Russ. Look, I'm not expecting that he's going to get traded either. I have a feeling he'll stay. And I have a feeling he will still be just fine. Now, we don't know how high the ceiling is for Justin Herbert. Let's try and figure it out because right now we have him number 7 on our list. Look, 4th in the league in yardage per game at 289 yards per game behind only Brady, Mahomes, and I believe Rodgers. Here's the thing. A lot of that yardage did come because, their defense gave up a lot of points. And a lot of times they were coming from behind. The Chargers, between the defense failing and Austin Eckler being hurt and the running game being totally ineffective, just had to rely on his arm. So that could change a little bit over time. But that said, if that's what he can do as a rookie, just imagine what he can do from here on out. So Herbert, you've got to feel great if you have him as your QB at Dynasty.
Yeah, pretty crazy to think if not for a injection to Tyrod Taylor's chest that went awry, we might not have even seen Justin Herbert. And then our number 6 quarterback, I almost feel like this is too low for him, but it's Dak Prescott. Before his injury last year, he was putting up almost video game-like numbers. Dak Prescott is a top 5 fantasy football quarterback, and it doesn't seem like people ever really treat him as that, right? You never hear him in the same vein as like the Deshaun Watsons, the Kyler Murrays, the Lamar Jacksons. People don't seem to treat him that way, but he really is. He's still only 28 years old, plenty of elite years ahead of him. And he's proven he can get it done, with the running game, without a running game, whatever receivers he has, it doesn't matter. He can get it done. So no reason to think Dak Prescott won't be an elite quarterback for years to come.
Yeah, with Dak, you know what? This might present a buy low opportunity for you Because if there's a team that does have one of these young quarterbacks or has a high draft pick or doesn't see Dak as their QB1 in Dynasty, well, you know what? You swoop in and you take him because he should absolutely be a top 10 quarterback going forward. All right, next up is a guy that probably seeing his value drop just a little bit because a lot of people were saying Lamar Jackson was the number one quarterback, maybe number two behind Mahomes last year. And of course, we always, kind of have an idea what was happening. It was going to be some regression, right? But if you notice, the last 5 games of 2020, he did start picking it up again. He was averaging 76 yards a game on the ground and 2 passing touchdowns per game. So no, he's never going to throw for a ton of yards. And it doesn't matter because he's going to run for yardage like a running back every single game. We already know what we're getting with him. You absolutely can guarantee that he's going to give you that high floor because of the rushing ability. This offense is going to revolve around him. So Lamar Jackson, again, it's hard to say that he's being undervalued, but I actually think he is.
Yeah, what we saw with Lamar Jackson down the stretch is what people were expecting all year last year. It was why people were drafting him as the number 1 Dynasty QB and why people were drafting him in the first or second round of redraft leagues. But we saw some guys take a leap in 2020, and that's why he's down to 5th. And one of those guys was Josh Allen, who's our number 4 Dynasty quarterback. Talk about a leap in 2020, right? Who saw this coming? He went from one of the most inaccurate passers in the NFL to one of the most accurate passers, throwing touchdowns, not throwing interceptions, making great decisions. It was a totally different Josh Allen. And if you look at his numbers, none of his numbers were ridiculously good. It wasn't like, Lamar Jackson 2 years ago who had like a 9% touchdown rate, or Patrick Mahomes when he threw 50 touchdowns. What he did last year, he could definitely repeat again or come close to. So no reason to think that there's going to be major regression here. The Bills are an up-and-coming team, and Josh Allen is a huge part of that. So you got to think he's going to be a top 5 Dynasty quarterback for years to come.
Yeah, this is a guy who's leapfrogged, some of those players that we just talked about, Lamar Jackson, and, some other quarterbacks that have been, long-time top 10 quarterbacks. I think it's pretty safe to say he's absolutely a top 5 Dynasty quarterback. Now, what do we know about Deshaun Watson heading into the season? We do know he doesn't want to be a Texan. We know that he still is a Texan. What's going to happen? Well, it may not even matter, to be honest, because look at what happened. Number 1 wide receiver traded before the season. Head coach fired during the season. A team that wound up finishing 4-12, that had an absolutely terrible defense, a very inconsistent run game. And guess what Deshaun Watson did? He posted the best numbers of his career. Led the league in passing yardage. Career high, 4,823 yards. Best touchdown percentage of his career. Best interception rate of his career, 33-7. And so it really doesn't seem like it matters where Deshaun Watson plays, who he's throwing the ball to. He's just thriving no matter the situation. Got him as a number 3 Dynasty quarterback because he's proven he is a leader and he is a guy that will absolutely put up big numbers regardless of the circumstance.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson has gotten it done everywhere, whatever he has around him, right? Won the championship at Clemson, took over that Texans team, immediately had success. He's a locked-in top 3 quarterback. And that takes us to our top 2. And number 2, we have Kyler Murray. I believe was the number 2 overall QB last year. And if it wasn't for that stretch where he hurt his shoulder, he probably would have finished as the overall QB1. He's only going to be 24 years old as we enter 2021. Cardinals offense, you got to think, has got to keep getting better. He's got DeAndre Hopkins, one of, if not the best wide receiver in the entire game. So no reason to think Kyler Murray should regress at all as we head into next season. And again, at only 24 years old, you've got an elite fantasy option for years and years to come. So he is our number 2 Dynasty quarterback.
Yeah, definitely. There's talk Cardinals might add another receiver either through the draft or free agency. Sure, why not? Give him more weapons. And number 1, this will shock you, but it is Pat Mahomes. Now, there's really not much to say about Patrick Mahomes. He's 25 years old. You have him in Dynasty. You're going to have him for at least the next 10 years. You'll be just fine. Lock for number 1, but what about the rest of our list? Do you agree? Is there somebody that we left out maybe? Got some beef with where we have our rankings? Let us know and hit us up with a comment. And of course, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We definitely appreciate it. Join us, Fantasy Football Endgame. We're trying to build an empire to help you win throughout the 2021 season and beyond. All right, thanks for watching.